Financial prosperity is not the pursuit, but can be a result of pursuing an abundant and prosperous life. So very successful, high net worth individual, high net worth client told me, Chris, I think of wealth building and kind of my personal net worth as a three-legged stool. And he had three things. One is the liquid financial asset. The second leg is my small business. And three is real estate. That always stuck with me. I've kind of rethought of that a bit. Maybe captures what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build over our wealth journey. I'm going to label these legs financial, cash flow. This represents the liquid assets, liquid investments that we invest in throughout our journey. Let's just put a smiley face. Easy to value assets. There's a market. We know at any point in time what things are worth. And then lastly, cash flow is low. There's cash flow. There could be dividends and interest, but cash flow is low comparative to what we're going to look at in the cash flow leg. In the financial leg of the stool, I have three sections: no tax, deferred tax, and after tax. Three important buckets or components of this leg of our stool that represent kind of the tax character of the vehicles or buckets that we put these assets into. So let's list what these things are. Certainly stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds or ETFs. We could have what are called REITs or real estate investment trusts, highly liquid but invest in real estate. We have our just good old cash. Cash in our checking account, cash in our checking account or savings account. We could have CDs, we could have currencies, could have foreign currencies, things like that. And of course, we could have crypto. And this is just a short list, many other vehicles that we could put, investment vehicles that we could put in this leg of the stool. The cash flow leg, things that are not very liquid. Not liquid, the value, let's put maybe a little somewhat of a frowny face there. Hard to value. They're valuable. These are assets and things that can have value and can appreciate in value, but it's not easy to value. It's not readily determinable. There's not always a ready market for it. But cash flow is higher. Cash flow higher compared to these things. So you may already be thinking, okay, well, of some things that are in the cash flow leg of the stool. However, let me throw one at you that might be a little bit of a curveball. I'm going to put it at the top here. It's the job. It's your job. And you say, Chris, that's not something you buy and sell. No, listen, we're not listing our financial stool isn't just things that we buy and sell or invest in. Obviously, there are. We're going to cover that, and that's part of our financial stool. But a job is the thing where your skill sets and your know-how and your circle of influence and the things that connect to your why, you're putting that in action every day through your job, whether that's a small business you own or whether you are employed and at your job, whatever it is you do. Every 2 weeks, there's cash flow coming. Every 2 weeks or two times a month, whatever it might be, that bonus, compensation, salary comes out and through your job and putting into action the things that you've learned and and the skill sets that you've accumulated. So at the top, cash flow is your job. Now, you say, well, that's not an asset. Yeah, you are the asset. When it's your job, that's you. But you've got to get your asset out of bed and go to work. And so, yeah, you're not the asset. And over time, you may think, well, are there things I can do that create cash flow that don't involve me being the asset? Well, of course, real estate is a big one. So real estate, commercial real estate, residential real estate, and investing in investment real estate is certainly a cash flow producing and very, very dynamic asset that a lot of people use to build wealth. Don't have to have real estate in here. That might not be something that inspires you or you're led to invest in. But real estate can be, and I love real estate, it can be a very valuable piece of your financial stool. A closely held business. We talked about stage 7, real estate stage 7, build it big. A closely held business. Again, not everyone is led to start their own small business, but a closely held business is an asset. When you're the owner, you own the business. You are on title to that company, and you have the control and the say and are providing the influence and leadership to grow that business. That's something you can own and can be extremely valuable and a component of your financial stool. And as we go through more of these, there certainly could be private equity ventures are not liquid, hard to value, could have an increase in cash flow. Maybe even private lending could be something that interests you and you do is part of this leg of the stool. And we could go down a few other things, but these are the biggies: job, real estate, closely held business, private equity, private lending. I might just write maybe any other alternative assets out there, which are unique. There's a laundry list of them. Always want to be careful and get good advice, but your leg of the stool, this is the cash flow leg of the stool. This leg of the stool is just simply you investing in yourself, growing your skill sets, your abilities, both technical and non-technical abilities, to make you a better you and a more knowledgeable, more impactful you. And so you here is skill sets, know-how, your circle of influence, those building relationships, connections with people that can help you and help you grow and help advance your career, those types of things. So skills, know-how, circle of influence. Those are all things that you're investing in yourself, that knowledge, and you're putting to work over here in your job, likely, or maybe in your closely held business. But gathering those skills are important too. You can't start putting them to action until you've got it. And once you've got it, you've got to put it into action. So, these things kind of work in tandem on these two legs of the stool. So, those are you. Now, I like to put some hard assets over here. I'll put lifestyle assets. So this of course is your home. Maybe it's a second home. If later in the wealth building process you've been blessed and are able to invest in a second home or a condo on the beach, whatever that may be, things like vehicles, things just like other personal assets, maybe even artwork. Financial assets that are liquid and we can get to easily and have a readily determinable value. But then I think of other things that produce consistent and increased cash flow above and beyond what this can do, and cash flow that is sizable cash flow that we can live on and help plow back into our wealth building journey. And then you are those intangible things, a lot of it intangible things, skills, know-how, circle of influence, building our reputation, building our leadership skills, all of those things very critical in our financial stool, as well as the lifestyle assets that we can accumulate and will accumulate throughout our journey. So you can do this. It is within you. It is within everybody to do the right things, apply the right behaviors, and build wealth in an impactful and dynamic way.